Okay, so it is 7:30 now, so we can go ahead and start and begin. First, want to say thank you to everyone who is on here now, and thank you to the speakers for being a part of this event, as well as thank you to our sponsors. This is our second time doing our Louisville Contractors event, and I'm so excited. This is our way, Jim Reynolds Asphalt way of just keeping a community, as well as sharing information, giving people resources to be able to figure out, what's going on in the home improvement industry, how can they be involved, and what to expect in the near future in regards to things that are growing and changing in our industry. I'm Chelsea Ellis, so I will be the moderator for today. I'll be the person asking questions, as well as sharing a little information about my story. And today we're focusing on women in construction. And we're doing so because it's Women's History Month. So we really wanted to take the time to show you guys actually three women in construction that I truly respect. I've read their story, I've communicated with them, and just seeing the things that they've been able to accomplish in the industry that is considered to be a man's industry is truly amazing. So I just wanted to be able to allow them a moment and a time to be able to share their story with other people, so that if there's other women who want to be in construction or want to be in the home improvement industry, they have someone that they can look up to, someone that they can see that's already doing it and can give them an example of how to be able to grow and reach what it is that they're wanting to reach. So first, starting out, I want to thank our three sponsors that we have for today's event. One, we have the Better Business Bureau. This is their second time being a sponsor for the Louisville Contractor Series. So we thank you so much. A lot of people know about the Better Business Bureau. Being Better Business Bureau accreditations are amazing. That's kind of your stamp of approval. A lot of customers go to look and see, okay, is your business accredited by the Better Business Bureau? And if so, that makes them more likely to want to do business with you. So we thank them for joining us. And towards the end of the event, we'll allow them a chance to be able to speak. We have Mr. John here today with us, and he'll speak and tell you a little bit more about their company and then why you should be accredited as well. Also, we have other sponsors, the Builders Exchange of Kentucky. So we thank them. They are a business here located in Kentucky with over 900 members across the area, and they supply competitive bids to the architectural community. And they've been doing so since 1927. So we thank them for being a sponsor. Not only do they have plan rooms that you can go in and access different plans, but also they have group rates for things such as health insurance or workman's comp that a lot of us need in our business. So we thank them as well for being a sponsor. And then last but not least, we have Miss Candace Williams Harris, who is also a realtor with Diamond Key Realtors. So she is your go-to person if you're wanting to buy a home or sell a home. She's the person that you should go to. And at the end of this event, I'll allow all of our sponsors to be able to share a little bit more about their businesses. But now at this time, I want to introduce our speakers and give you a little bit of information about them before we kind of get into our discussion. So first, I want to introduce Miss Katy Perry, and she is the owner of Katy Perry Designs. She is 26 years old, and she is a mother of two girls as well as a wife. She started her business after picking up a few tools and discovering her ability to create. And then she wanted to be able to create different great things for other people outside of herself. So she does a lot of things in the home improvement industry, building custom furniture, as well as designing rooms from scratch. So she has amazing work. So you want to definitely make sure you check out her Instagram page. Is amazing. The things that she creates is truly, truly great. And then we also have Miss Kayla Hinkle on here from Happy Endings Construction. She is the owner. She is 20 years old and she's a mom, and she's expecting her second bundle of joy. She has been working in home improvement for 3 years with her 3 generations of wisdom, which is her father, her grandfather, and her uncle. So after working with them, she ended up deciding to create her own business because she realized how much she enjoyed the home improvement industry. And she named her company Happy Endings because the fact after the customers got her service, she realized they always was happy customers, and she enjoyed that feeling of making other people happy. And then last but not least, we also have Miss Michelle Adams on here with us. She's the manager of construction and facilities services at KFC. So she is experienced in construction, procurement professional with a diverse background in vendor management, as well as budgeting, construction, and development. She is a skilled negotiator with a proven ability to manage multi-million-dollar contracts from construction, development, products, and services. So as you see from their bios, we truly have an amazing group of women here to discuss their experiences. So now I'm going to get into, our first question to kind of get things rolling. So starting out, I'll ask questions and then I'll allow each of you guys to, speak and kind of share your story where we all get a chance to talk. So first question is, what made you get into the industry of home improvement and construction? So I'll allow Miss Michelle, you can start if you like for that first question.
Sure. It's funny because I never had the plan to go into construction. That was never my idea. I actually thought I wanted to be a marine biologist. But my dad was in construction. My mother was in construction. And when I got to college, I ended up getting a job that put me in a construction area. And it just happened that I liked it and I was really good at it. But since then, it's like that passion has grown because my parents, neither of them went to college. They owned their own businesses, but they didn't have that business mindset. And so I found a niche for myself in training people like yourselves that have your own businesses, small business owners that want to do well, want to learn how to get their business to grow. And that's sort of how I started. And I've just fed off of that.
That's awesome. I know a lot of people have a similar experience of, just kind of falling into this industry. So I'll allow Kayla, do you have anything to share about how you began in this industry?
Yes. So mine's kind of piggybacks with the family. My dad said it started when I was younger, like 3. I seen him pouring concrete and doing some other projects, and I just started walking, trying to get into everything. And then eventually, as I got older, I was interested in knowing a little bit more hands-on and business as well. I did do a couple of projects on my own once I did get familiar and used to the tools and knowing what to do. And I was like, hey, if you can do it, I can do it too. And it just took off from there.
That's great. How about you, Katy? How did you get started in the industry?
It was kind of an accident almost. My husband and I and our 2 girls moved to Raleigh in 2017, Raleigh, North Carolina. And he worked crazy hours. So that was great. So instead of kind of like falling into it was really lonely there because it was just me all day with 2 little babies. So one day I was just like, you need to find a niche. So I went to Home Depot and bought some tools, and then it just kind of took off from there. And then my aunt, she actually builds homes for Habitat for Humanity. So she kind of sparked that initial interest. So just kind of snowballed into what it is today.
That's awesome. One thing I can see that we kind of all have in common is that we just had moments where we may not have realized that it was the industry we wanted to get into, but we had people around us that kind of influenced it and helped us lead us down this path. And it kind of was a similar thing with myself as well. I was born and raised around the industry. My father, Sam Ellis, as well as my great uncle, Jim Reynolds, who the company that we now own is named after. I seen both of them in the industry throughout my life. And I never knew that I was going to get involved with it. But the more I got older and the more I seen, the way they were able to run a business and truly be successful, it made me want to know more. Maybe want to know more about the products, maybe want to know more about the industry. And then as time just kept going, I ended up just falling more and more in love with it. So next question I have for you guys is, for someone who is possibly looking to get into the industry, and even women specifically, what would be your advice for them to be able to figure out, is this the right career choice for them? And I'll let, if Miss Michelle would like to start, you can do so.
I think the first thing would be to understand the industry that you're getting into. I think first thing, you have a passion about it, great, but also try to understand what the requirements are. If you want to be a contractor, you have to be licensed. There's certain steps that you have to take. But then also understand that every touch point in your life will become part of your business. So networking should become second nature for you. You're in the grocery store, there's never an opportunity that you can't just, promote yourself, promote your business. So that will be what I would say to anyone that's looking to get into this industry. Understand what the industry is and what the requirements are, but then understand that every single touch point could be an opportunity to promote yourself.
Yeah, that's a great point, because networking definitely is key in, different industries, especially ours as well. The more you, connect with more people and know more people in the industry, the easier it is to kind of figure out if it's what's for you. So Miss Kayla, do you have anything to add to that, on some recommendations on someone wanting to learn about the trade industry or getting involved in construction?
Yes, I would say also just research and ask questions to people that you may know that's already in that industry. So you're aware of what you're really going into. And you also can come up with your own game plan, but at least you do have at least some type of guidance from someone to help you and give you the extra push to do everything that you would need to do.
Definitely planning and having a game plan definitely is important. Because if you go into it with no plan, it makes it harder for yourself to truly be able to learn and succeed. Do you have anything to add to it, Katy, on recommendations for people trying to get in the industry?
Yeah, I think research is a really big part of it. And I think you should really research to make sure it's a good fit into your life and that you know what you want to do. And I think there's a lot of connotation around women in our industry of they probably can't do that as well as a man. I'm just call it like it is. But I think just to ignore kind of those connotations around that and just go for it if that's something that you have your heart set on.
Definitely. And I see Miss Michelle, you have your hand raised. You have another point?
Yeah, I thought about something after while Kayla was speaking. Another thing would be to get to know other people in that trade. Have conversations, talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like Katy was saying, there's not a lot of women that do what we do. And a lot of individuals, a lot of men are taken aback when a woman steps out and they're like, this is my business. I know what I'm talking about. So just be prepared for that. But I think just interacting and being mentored by or having a relationship with individuals within this industry is I would say put that at the top of the list too.
Definitely. I agree with that totally. I know when I got into it, I, was willing to learn, willing to take advice, willing to find mentors and coaches around me. And then one thing I learned, that when I was willing to learn from others, then I found people who were willing to teach. So that's a great part of being able to learn and grow in any industry that you're in. So for you guys personally, has it been any challenge that, that was really hard in this industry that you were able to overcome that you can share with us today? We can start. Miss Kayla, if you would like to start, we can.
Yes, I would say mainly the challenges for me have been just people getting kind of discouraged when they see my face and think, well, how is she going to do this? Or how is this going to happen? And just really trying to judge me based upon me being a woman instead of really looking at the bigger picture and the bigger point of what's needing to be done, or my assistants. I feel like that's really been my main challenge, especially with home improvement and building, especially stuff that, you know, men really normally use tools or hammers or saws or anything. And they're like, I don't know if she knows what she's doing. So ultimately, that's been my challenge. How I've been able to overcome those challenges, I've just put on my big girl pants and show exactly what I'm here to do. And once they see the work and see that I'm there, my dad's there with me as well. But once they see us get into the work and more hands-on, then it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, she really knows what she's doing. So I kind of took that and twisted it and learned to kind of just let my work speak for itself and don't get so discouraged that people are trying to down you or trying to say you can't do this or you can't do that. Just continue to keep your head up and do what you do best, and your work will ultimately just show for itself.
Definitely. Those are some great points that you mentioned. You know, once if you know how to do good work in our industry, that's what the customers want. So, you know, you prove yourself through that. Do you guys have anything to add? Miss Katy, you have anything to add to that? On any challenges that you've had to overcome?
I kid you not, every single time, probably every day when I go into Lowe's, Home Depot, any kind of lumber yard, some guy will stop me and be like, what are you doing with all that wood? Do you know what you're doing? What are you making with that? It's frustrating. And then, you know, like in clients' homes, the husbands will come out of the be like, well, you know, I could do this, but I don't have time. That's great. Okay. What are you telling me? But I think that's just kind of a struggle. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. And if I believe in my work and I think my work is good, I have to be happy with it. And I think that's all that matters. I mean, the client has to be happy with the work too, but I just experience it a lot every single day. So in my head, if I'm happy with what I'm doing, then that's really all that matters. So just how it is.
Definitely understand. Miss Michelle, do you have anything to add on your challenges and the way you overcame them?
Oh yeah. I think there's just challenges every day. And I think probably, you know, similar to what Katy and Kayla both were saying, just the perception that women, you know, don't know, or that we're dainty and, you know, fragile. I get that a lot, especially if I show up at a job site. It's, oh no, you know, we don't want you to have to come here. You know, we don't want you to get hurt. And I pull out my boots and my construction hat and I walk on site and I start going through the plan and I pull out my drawings. And I think you just have to show them that you're not intimidated by things, and that you know what you're doing. Because I think that you can put, you know, people in their place by your intelligence and your professionalism and your experience. I've been through if I show up to site with one of my employees who happens to be a male, they want to have the conversation with my male employee. And he quickly says, no, she's the boss, you know? And so I think it's a lot of that. And I think it's just something we're going to have to probably battle for quite some time. But I think if you have thick skin, and like I said, if you're a professional and you can show that you're experienced in this industry and you don't take it personally, you know, then I think you'll go far.
Definitely, I agree with those things. Yeah, even especially being in the asphalt industry, they definitely don't expect me to be walking up and measuring the driveway or, you know, knowing what I know in regards to asphalt. And I actually love the shock factor of it. I laugh on the inside because I come out and I know they expect that, it would be somebody else. And then when I start speaking and they see I know so much about the product, like I see their whole energy change. And they're like, oh, okay, I can actually have a back and forth conversation. She actually knows things. And then I can tell the, switch. And then they become a customer that's kind of happy that they're doing business with someone who's a woman, who's young, who actually knows about the product and the service. So I think it also, it has its disadvantages, but I think also it has some advantages because we're set apart from other people in the industry, and people are able to notice us and say, okay, that's someone doing something different. Maybe I can support that. Maybe I can try to, support a woman who's doing something in the trade industry and construction industry. But it's definitely challenges similar to, other industries that are male dominated as well. What would be you guys' recommendations? I'm sorry, my actual question is, what do you think could help the customer contractor experience go smooth? Because in this industry, we know working with other contractors, subcontractors, are working with the customer, whether it be homeowners or property owners. Sometimes it's a disconnect. A lot of times there's a negative view when it comes to contractors. And what's some ways that you guys think that we can improve, that relationship between contractors, our construction, and the customers?
I would say communication, that could be a major part in anything. Sometimes you may communicate something to a customer and they may say, oh, okay, I'm aware of that, but they don't really know what you're talking about. They're just trying to rush off or something, or rush you off. And then boom, it fails because then you do something, then you have to go back because they didn't understand what you were saying, or vice versa. A customer could communicate something to us or anyone, and then we may not understand it. So I think just really asking questions and getting that clarity before you are like, okay, I'm good to go. But I feel like communication is really the main key in things.
I would say also, I completely agree with Kayla. I think the other piece of that is documentation, right? So if you document, everything, because I think I look at from my personal perspective, when contractors come to my home and I want them to do some work, I hate it when I want a quote and it's verbal, or I get an email with just a dollar amount. It's no detail. There's nothing backing it up. And I feel like something sneaky is going on there, right? Why aren't they giving me all the information that I asked for? So I think that if you document, and I come from a legal background, so it's always like, put it down on paper. If you put it down on paper, everyone can read it, have people sign off on it, so each party knows what they're getting. I think that helps tremendously. I think the second thing is, if you say you're going to do something, do it. If you make an appointment and it's at a certain time, show up on time. Don't be late. Don't not call, or don't call, several minutes after your appointment was supposed to be and cancel. It doesn't show that you have respect for that individual's time. And it also shows you're not very trustworthy. And so those are just like little things that I think people could do. But I think it's also, don't assume that, just like Kayla was saying, don't assume that people understand everything that you're saying. My husband knows absolutely nothing about construction. When I send him to Lowe's for tools because I don't feel like going because I'm home with the kids, I have to write down exactly what I want him to get. I'm not just going to tell him, get me an 18 gauge pneumatic nail gun. And he's like, I don't know what that is. I literally have to write it down, tell him what aisle it's on. And, that much detail is helpful for homeowners because they don't have a clue, and they're looking to you as the expert to help them understand what their needs are. Of course, you also have to be a good listener, but they're really looking to you because they have to trust you, because this is an area that they don't have the expertise in.
I would agree with both Kayla and Michelle. For me, when I go into a client's house, I think that first impression is key. And I think going in and giving my opinion isn't really the first thing that I do. I want to be polite. I want to make the customer and client feel that they're my only client and customer. I want to make them feel that, all my time and attention is focused on them. So instead of saying, you should change that, you need to do this, swap this floor out, I say, okay, what do you love about your home? And what do you think we could make it better? What do you think we could do to make it better? So I think communication is at most important. And I would agree with you, Michelle, kind of giving, when you say documentation, just kind of a visual, because some clients have trouble visualizing the finished product. So I think those two things are the most important.
Yeah, those are definitely great points. And, I've had to use it as well in my industry, because some people, they may have the information about asphalt. Some of our customers, they don't know the difference from asphalt and concrete sometimes, or, the difference in seal coating and paving sometimes. And it's up to me to be able to explain it to where anyone can get it. Because if I don't do so and I give them a product that they didn't know that they were getting, then they won't be a happy customer. So you guys definitely are correct. The more images you have to show, the more information you put down or explain, the more you communicate, it always makes the relationship go better when it comes to working with customers and even with subcontractors. So creating agreements, making sure you have everything, your terms and agreements plain written out to where everybody knows what their job is to do when working together. All of those things can help make everything run smoother and avoid a lot of the challenges and bad experiences that people, have with contractors or customers in our industry. So I know 2021, I feel like it's going to be, a great year for construction, a great year for entrepreneurs. Do you guys have any goals for your business or for your industry on what you want to accomplish this year?
Yeah, I think we're almost kind of at the end of the tunnel with this whole pandemic. So like I mentioned earlier, a lot of people are feeling a little bit more comfortable hiring out jobs and doing the home renovations that they've been wanting to do for a couple of years. So for me, my personal goals are just kind of expanding my portfolio. My favorite thing is doing different projects. It kind of gets old building a fireplace every week. So kind of just expanding my portfolio and meeting new people and just kind of getting my name more out there.
Now let Kayla, you can go next.
Okay. Yeah, so ultimately, I have goals to meet more people, women, who are kind of doing the similar thing as me, to kind of have that background and someone to talk to, and for us to kind of brand together or reach out together or come together on certain things. Also, ultimately, by the end of this year, I want to just run only my business and not have another job, because it can be crazy doing sometimes. But ultimately, that's my main goal for this year, is to just focus only on my business and just have that and not work a full-time, basically 2 full-time jobs. So
I think for me, it's a little bit different because I work for KFC. So I can give you what KFC's goals are. Clearly, our goals are always to build more KFC locations, to get people to eat more chicken, KFC chicken, of course. But I recently hired some new staff, and so there's a lot of training going now. So my personal goals are always to train my people well, so that they can pursue their own personal development. But then also to make sure that I'm providing opportunities for the contractors and subcontractors that we work with. Because I'm in construction and facilities, I kind of see both sides of things. I work with a lot of general contractors, but I also work with a lot of small contractors as well, from asphalt and paving, like Chelsea, and plumbers and electricians and things like that. So, the trades are a dying art. And anything that I can do and anything that KFC can do to continue to give back to the community, even if it's, providing opportunities in the way of jobs for those individuals, that's always going to be a goal of mine.
Definitely, those are some great goals. And I know for myself and our business, our goal this year is definitely expansion, but expansion with the goals of being able to help people in the process. We have a saying within our company that asphalt is just the foundation, and that, we have so much more that we like to accomplish with our company. And then the asphalt company is just our vehicle in order to get there and take more people with us. So we also are in the process of hiring more people, doing, personal development, as well as trainings and stuff for our employees and people in our community. We realize that the trade industry, a lot of people don't realize how amazing it could be to be a part of construction or be a part of home improvement industry, and how you can truly make a livable wage in our industry too. And you can do so by, going and getting certain licenses, or going to get certain trainings in certain trades that might only take a year, or some may only take 2 years, or some you can even learn on the job training and be able to figure it out. So I feel like it's a great way to provide financial freedom, for people who love doing handiwork, who loves working with people and doing things such as that. So our goal is to give more opportunity to people who want to get involved in our industry. And last question I have for you guys before I allow people to ask any questions in the audience, and then I also allow as well our speakers, our sponsors, to be able to speak for a few minutes. I want to ask, what is one tip that you could give to our audience today? It doesn't have to be specifically on the construction industry. It could be, a general tip, but what's one tip that you would love to share with those listening in or watching us today?
That's a loaded question, Chelsea. I think for me, I would just say, have faith and confidence in yourself. Know that sometime, and I don't know if it's just with women, but we tend to have that birdie on our shoulder that, kind of gives us a little doubt in ourselves, especially when you're talking about going into something completely different or completely new. We're moms, we're sisters, we're wives. And so we wear a lot of hats, but I will be the first to tell you that you can do anything you put your mind to. Because there's plenty of women that are doing new things. They're owning their own business. They're owning multinational corporations. They're running multinational corporations. They're franchisees, with large companies. So I would just say, just continue to have faith and confidence in yourself, and surround yourself, by individuals that are doing some of the things that you want to do.
I would definitely agree with that. I think my tip would be to do what makes you happy. Your ultimate goal of success isn't going to happen overnight. So it's going to be a long road. It might be a hard one. It might be an easy one. And I think you shouldn't give up on yourself. And kind of piggybacking off of what you had to say, Michelle, is doubting yourself. I just think if you just keep pushing through, like you said, you can literally do anything you have your heart set on. So.
I completely agree with both Katy and Michelle. Just if you feel in your heart that that's something that you're ready to do, or whatever you want to do, just go for it. And it can be scary along the way, but just don't give up, and you'll be able to get to where you're wanting to go and you go.
Thank you for those tips. Those great tips. I think my tip that I would love to share with everyone today, something I've been studying a lot here recently, is about investing. So a lot of times, when you own a business or when you have a career that you're in, we use it as our stream of income, and we're taught to save. We're taught to maybe invest into retirement plans, but there's so many ways that you can invest your money. So I feel like if you own a business, if you have a career, figure out ways you can truly invest your money that you're making from these things to be able to create financial freedom for yourself. It's so many ways out here, whether it be the stock market or cryptocurrency or, other different ways out here that you can invest, but figure out a way that not only you can work for your money, but figure out ways you can make your money also work for you. Because we know that even though we love our careers, even though we love our jobs, one day we want to retire. One day we want to be able to look back and see what our hard work allowed us to accomplish. And investing is one of the main ways that we can do so. So take all of this information that we've all been able to share today and use it to be able to grow yourself and be able to improve and make it work inside of your life. So I appreciate you guys for sharing all of your tips and all of your story about your experience in our industry. And then before I allow the sponsors to speak, I want to allow you guys to share your websites as well as the best places that people can reach you to be able to get in touch and know more about your services. So I'll allow Katy to start. What's the best way for people to reach you?
Yeah, so majority of my inquiries come through Instagram. So that is just at Katy Perry Design. And then my website, you can inquire there as well. It's www.katyperrydesign.com. Thank
you. And her Instagram is amazing. And I've probably looked at every single photo on there. She does great jobs with her work that she does. Kayla, how can people get in touch with you?
I have a Facebook with my business on it. It's Happy Endings Construction. It's purple. You'll see like a tool in the logo as well. But that's ultimately how I am able to connect with a lot of my clients. So.
Thank you. And Michelle, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
I'm on LinkedIn. I'm easy to find. It's just Michelle Adams, and I'm at KFC. So I hope to hear from several of you because I'd love to continue network.
Thank you guys for sharing. Now I'm gonna allow a moment for the sponsors to be able to speak and share a little bit more about their business. And then after that, I'll allow questions from the audience if there's any questions for the people who are on here speaking today, for the speakers. So first, I want to have Mr. John from the Better Business Bureau. You can unmute yourself now and tell us a little bit more about your business.
Well, Chelsea, thank you so much. And I also want to be the first this evening to congratulate Jim Reynolds Asphalt for being our newest BBB accredited business. So congratulations. I appreciate your investment that you're making into the BBB. This has been a wonderful evening. I really have enjoyed you talking about your businesses. It's fabulous. I've been hearing that we've all had challenges. Yeah, we all do have challenges. Communication, trust, and mission and passion. That's what I hear everyone talking about. And that's what we look for in the BBB. BBB is a over 100-year-old organization who builds their business on trust in creating a fair and equitable marketplace between the consumer and business owner. And in many cases, the consumer may not know the business name, but they do recognize the BBB logo. They know that that is a trusted resource, and they don't know that we vet businesses before they can apply for BBB accreditation, and they are invited to be part of the BBB. So it's not just pay my money, I'm BBB accredited. So the businesses have to go through a vetting procedure before they can wear the seal of the BBB logo. So in many cases, and it's another way of, we heard trust a while ago, and that's real important because the consumer wants to be able to trust you as a contractor. And obviously the contractor wants to be able to trust the consumer as well. And that's where that line of communication comes in. You have to have that line of communication. And that line of communication begins with trust. If you don't have that trust, it doesn't make any difference what product or service you have to provide. You've got to start with trust. So I encourage, if you want to know more about the BBB, I'm available at any time at jstraub@louisville.bbb.org. You can call me at the office. We are local. We're on 4th Street in downtown Louisville, and we've been here 116 years. So anything that I can do to help any of you, don't hesitate to give me a call, whether big business or small business. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being a sponsor for our event. Next, I'll allow Miss Candace with Diamond Key Realtors to speak and tell us a little bit more about her business.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm telling you, first of all, Chelsea, I'm just so impressed with you. I have followed you on Facebook for many a year, so I just wanted to let you know that. And I do two things. I have a women's empowerment group, and just to see you ladies just doing what you're doing, I love it. I love it. And it's called First Ladies Women Empowerment. And I'm all about, exposing women's businesses by sharing it on my Facebook page, on my Instagram. I have events before COVID. So I just wanted to let you know about that. But also, I am a real estate agent. I'm with Diamond Key Realtors. The market is awesome. It is hot right now. So, I'm all about helping, of course, buyers and sellers make their dream come true, whether it's to sell their home or to purchase. So, but I am so glad to be a part of this, and I look forward to more of these. So thank you.
Thank you so much for being a part of the event as well. So make sure if you're looking to buy or sell a property that you contact Miss Candace. And our last sponsor, I'll tell you a little bit more about their business. They weren't able to present today, but definitely want to thank the Builders Exchange of Kentucky for being our sponsor as well. As I mentioned earlier, that they are a full service construction trade association with approximately over 900 members across Kentucky. And they supply competitive bids to the architectural community, and they've been doing it since 1927. Really a huge thank you to their CEO, Miss Lynn Stetson. She's truly an amazing person. She's all about supporting the community, supporting construction, contractors, and being able to connect the dots where it needs to be connected. The Builder Exchange, they also promote projects to potential bidders through their powerful and easy to use online plan room. So not only do they have a physical plan room that you can go to, you also can access it online and virtually. And they have everything from plans to the specs and everything you can access 24/7. And you can go to their website at bxkentucky.com. And also, as I mentioned before, if you have a business with employees or need services such as workers' comp or need services such as health insurance for yourself or your employees, they have really great group rates to be able to allow you to get those services at affordable rates. So thank you to all of our sponsors tonight. So now I'll allow some time for some questions. So if anybody has a question, if you could hit the raise your hand button, or you can make the question in the chat as well. And then we'll allow our speakers to be able to answer any questions if you have some. I know for some reason I can't see the chat. So Dad, if you see anything in the chat, if you could let me know. I see a hand raised. Here we go. All right.
Yes, I have a question. I know you guys are entrepreneurs, and sometimes it's you have to stay motivated all the time. And what do you do to keep yourself focused and motivated to continue on doing what you're doing? Because I know it's a lot of things that goes on in our life. Babies are born, people are leaving. So what do you do to keep yourself focused on your business, so the stuff that goes on every single day in our life, the negative things, that doesn't get you off track?
I think that's a great question. For me, it's a couple things. My husband actually works from home full time, so our kids still aren't back in preschool, which they're going back hopefully at the end of this month. But he helps me out a lot with them because when I'm out in clients' homes, he is able to be here full time with them. And then another way that I stay motivated is hearing people reach out to me really makes me happy to hear that I'm inspiring someone. I get messages from women quite often saying, hey, I'm so happy that you post this tutorial. I'm going to try it this weekend, or thank you for showing me that it's okay to start a project and being a woman. So I think that in itself is a huge motivation.
Yeah, I know for me personally, what helps me also stay motivated is I began doing a lot of reading and a lot of listening to audiobooks, positive audiobooks, things that are telling me tips and ways to just continue to grow, continue to stay positive. And that helps me, as well as just balance. So being able to balance my personal life, my health, my spiritual life, as well as my business, and being able to give all of those different areas in my life, kind of an equal amount of time to where I'm still working hard, in my business and in what I'm doing, but also I allow time to relax, time to have fun. So it doesn't get too overwhelming. Because I think, the whole point of being, in a certain career or being a business owner, not only we want to work hard, we want a little bit of freedom too, to be able to do something we enjoy and do other things as well. So I make sure that I leave time for studying and improving my mindset, as well as I leave time for fun, for family, for the other things that I enjoy. And that helps me to where even when I have seasons, like we're seasonal. So in the summertime, it's crazy busy. But then I'm able to focus because I read different positive things. It tells me, okay, I might be busy now, but in the wintertime, I might be able to relax a little bit more. It might be a little slower. So I use those things to kind of keep me motivated, keep me positive, even when things get overwhelming.
I think what keeps me motivated, not only my son, seeing him, like the look in his eyes when he sees something that I've completed, that gives me a little bit more motivation to continue to do what I want to do. But also, like Chelsea said, is relaxing too sometimes, so I don't get overwhelmed. So lately I've been doing yoga, which that's really relaxing. I don't do too much, but just that helps me to keep my mind clear of anything that could be negative or discouraging. But those really have kept me motivated.
And I think for me, some of the similar things as everyone else has said, balance, having my work-life balance. I think my situation is a little bit different because, I'm working corporate and, it's not necessarily my time. So I think for me, just, with everything that's happened in the last year with COVID, I think that it was almost like a blessing in disguise for a lot of people. And I'll say it was a blessing in disguise for me because it forced me to slow down a bit and just, take inventory and stock of what's really important. And so I've spent quite a bit of time in my house with my 4 children, which has been interesting. But it's also being able to see them on a daily basis, learn things, because I've also been teacher for them too. But the things that keep me going are seeing them grow and seeing them, now they get to see what mom does all day, because they never saw that before. I would go into the office and they had no idea, so now they know that I go to construction sites. I'm doing a lot of construction projects right now. And for me, one of the things that I've always loved about construction in and of itself and has kept me motivated is one day there's a pile of dirt and the next day there's a building, you know, and it's almost like you're putting your stamp on something, and you can look back and say, I did that, right? And I was a part of this project, and it's just that source of pride that you're leaving your own legacy, and your kids can go by that, and that's just always been motivating for me.
Yeah, those definitely were some great points, and I agree that when people, you know, who are a part of construction and you see your final product, I even see the look on our new employees' faces where they look and say, okay, I did that, and they get excited. They're like, okay, I was able to complete a project, and now I can drive around the city and point it out to my wife or to my kids and say, I was a part of making that parking lot look better or that property look better. You have another question, Dad?
Well, this is not a question, but it is something I feel like I should say. I just want to piggyback off of you, Chelsea, when you talked about investments. I've been in this industry for over 30 years, and you guys are very, very young. And if I wish I knew what I know now, if I knew it then, okay? You probably heard that before from people. And what I know now is that it's so important when you bid out for your jobs that you know what your cost is of doing business, that you know those numbers. You have to know those numbers. And part of those numbers is money that you can invest, because eventually you can have more money in your investment, making in your investment, than you can in your business. How amazing is that? Who thinks that way? That's the way we think. Our business is a vehicle to create wealth. And same way with your, when you go to a job, you know, that job, that wage is a vehicle to create wealth. You're not going to get wealthy on the job. And a lot of people don't get wealthy running a business. That's why you see so many people who have business for 20, 30 years. When they retire, they're not wealthy. They're not financially independent. And that's because they didn't strategize in a way that they're investing some of that money to create wealth. So that's just something that I just want to share with you guys. With Chelsea's doing that, we're doing that, and it's amazing what's happening to us. This takes a lot of pressure when you don't have to go to the bank for money. When you don't have to ask anybody for money. When you need equipment that you can just go right from your investments and get whatever you need.
Definitely. I see. Michelle, would you like to add a point?
Oh my gosh, when he said that, I was just like, amen, amen, amen. That is so true. One of the things that I used to do when I used to do contractor education, I worked at a lot of universities, and I used to have contractor education sessions. And one of the things that contractors, especially minority contractors and small businesses, is they felt as though they had to low bid something to get their foot in the door. And they're basically shooting off their own foot, because when you enter in a situation like that, it's so difficult for you to catch back up. And other businesses don't have to do that. And so I've always encouraged people to really understand your costs, really understand what your overhead is, really understand what you need to continue doing business. And it's not just to move from one job to the next job. It's exactly what Sam just said. Is looking forward. You know, I mentioned that my dad was in construction, my mom was in construction. Well, at some point, both of my parents decided to open a construction janitorial service, but they didn't know the business side. And my dad would put out bids to get a foot in the door, and it was constant. They had to live job to job, and to this day, they had no retirement. They had nothing to live off of, because they literally bid every job just to get them through that job. And they couldn't pay any staff. So they were basically breaking their backs, working themselves, because they had bid so low. They were the only two, and us, that could work on those jobs. So I cannot stress that enough. When he said that, I just, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. The whole purpose of you being an entrepreneur and you having your own business, that you can have control over your own destiny. And you need to invest in yourself, and so that's so important.
Definitely. Thank you for sharing that point, so that, us as business owners, we can continue to understand that it's not always about our bid being low, but we want to be competitive. We want to have competitive pricing and know our numbers. And customers and, businesses, they will respect that. They respect when you do that, respect if you give good work as well, and it all will work itself out in the end, and you'll realize, how further you can grow and how much more you can do when you know your prices and know your cost and be able to truly bid correctly. So thank you guys for that information. Do we have any more questions or thoughts or anything? That was definitely some really good information that was shared. So thank you guys. So thank you everybody for joining us for our Women's History Month Zoom. I really enjoyed this, and I would love to continue to do these Zooms more and more, so that we can just share different sides of the industry, different professionals, especially here locally in Louisville, because we have a lot of amazing businesses, a lot of amazing professionals that we can network with and continue to grow. So make sure that you reach out to our speakers today, whether it be to network or to ask questions or to be able to work together. This is the way that we can grow and do more and be able to accomplish a lot of our goals. So again, thank you so much. Make sure that you check out the Jim Reynolds Asphalt website. It's jimreynoldsasphalt.com, as well as our Facebook page to look out for future events. And make sure you also, like I said, stay connected with the speakers as well as our sponsors. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next Zoom. So thank you and have a good evening.